Good morning, friends. How's everybody doing today? We are about 2.5 hours from market open. Our little pre-market game plan, analysis, thoughts, and everything that's going on in our mind at the moment. So let's take a look at it here. This morning I have pulled up the Apple price. This is on the daily time frame, which, for any of my new friends out here, to put it simply, each candle that you look at represents one day. So here on this screen we have about 40 days, 40 to 50 days worth of price action. Right now we're sitting at about 209 price per share on the daily time frame. Interestingly enough, in our little range that we're at here at the moment, you can see here we've had a low down here of about 180. We've had a high of 237. This is just within the past 2 months of what's been going on with Apple. So that's kind of the range, okay? You're working with a low of 180 and a high of 237. And we are at the middle of that range, sitting at 209. So, well, what's that mean for me? What's that mean for me? In a general consensus, when you're in the middle of a range of something, you're really you lost a probability right there. You lost a factor. This is just personal here. I've lost a factor of having an additional thing in my pocket that can be beneficial to me. Because if I was at the lower end of a range, okay, I could have more of a chance of being better at a long position because have the benefit of being at the bottom of a range. Whereas more if I was at the higher end of a range, I would have the benefit of going short because you don't want to short the low and you don't want to long the high. You want to short from high. You want to buy low, sell high. Okay? So being that we're in the middle of the range at the moment, it's kind of a 50-50. So on the daily, I'm not seeing anything too great here. One thing I do see is our round trip pattern that is presenting itself and is 90% complete, but there's no reason why we can't come down here 190 level and take out some of this long liquidity down here. However, one more thing I do see on the daily for Apple before we zoom in is notice this area here. There was some consolidation over here, and then we moved up and away from it. But then look what happened. Look what happened right here. It came right back down here in a hurry too. And where did it come down to? The same consolidation area. Interesting, right? Price loves to revisit old areas to test it. And sure enough, it tested it. It tested it, and past 3 days, it's been moving away from it. Oh, I'm too late. Well, perhaps you could be, but if you were watching this on the daily time frame, you could have seen that demand setup on that, which is kind of similar to the Pepsi setup where we were talking about yesterday on the, I believe it was the 4-hour time frame. We were looking at a potential demand setup coming today or tomorrow, and that'll be an interesting one to see. But this was a good play. Whoever took that long there, that was very nice. I hope you've taken some off the table and you're just leaving the rest to ride or potentially fill this gap that we're about to talk about here. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in to let's go to the 2-hour time frame. That'll be a bit of more illustration. So we had this nice gap down here. A couple days ago when we had that market sell-off, this nice gap here in price action. And we went down. Oh, look at that. Look at this right here. Interesting enough. Do you see this? That is called a tweezer maneuver right there. Very similar to a tweezer. It's slightly off, but that's kind of how it printed right there. So you had gone up from that, and now we're just kind of consolidating in this area. They've recovered about 50% of the gap at this moment. But the way a lot of these tech stocks have been playing out the past couple days, ever since that little mini sell-off they had at the beginning of the week, a lot of the gaps have been getting recovered. And I would play this two ways today in the market. I would have some buys down here in order to buy here with stops here and take profits here. Why? Because all these people that are going long off of this big giant green candle, they have their stops down here. So their stops would be our entry. We would enter with the idea that we're going to fill out this gap up here. This is where we would be closing. So market would open, do its little dance, quick drop down, take some long liquidity, and then move up to take the gap and fulfill the gap. And from there, there's not much of a game plan at the moment. We'd have to reanalyze. So we would just close our positions. Conversely, if I was looking to take a day trade short on Apple today, what am I looking for price to do? I would be looking for price to open, make a little dance, fill out the gap quickly. If it's moving slow, I don't want none of it. But if it jumps up quick, I know they're trying to get somewhere and get out of there in a hurry. They're trying to do a drive-by shooting. I shouldn't say that. They're trying to do a drive-by is the term I should use. So they want to jump up quick, fill the gap, take some short liquidity, and then the slow drag down. So my sell orders would be here, here, and I'd probably have an additional one up here just in case there's some short liquidity to be had above the 225 area of everybody that's been holding their short positions. That could be an excellent entry up here at 225. The narrative is down. A lot of people could be shorting Apple at the moment. So when you have the narrative down, you get the, markets going down on TV. Everybody wants to go down. And it's been going on for a few days now. That could tell you that people have been falling into that narrative and they've been shorting different things. And Apple, being a popular tech stock, they could be shorting Apple as well. They'll short a blade of grass if they could. So we will be having our sell short position entries up here at 225. They would get stopped out. They lose. We get filled. And we hold and ride for a nice ride down to, if we got filled at that 225, we would ride it down for a swing, I'm telling you. Because if the narrative truly is short, then we would play that position. We would probably take a little bit off the table if we got in profit, and then we would let the rest ride to see how we do on a swing on that. Because we would win in both scenarios. We would win by taking out the people that shorted too early, and then we would win by being patient and letting this market have its correction that is so duly needed. And a lot of people say, this past week it's been interesting in the markets because a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's sell off, sell off, sell off. But when you come and look at the chart, it's weak. It's so weak, the sell off. And on top of that, it has been selling off. It's been a gradual sell-off. This is like middle to late stages of the sell-off going on now, in my humble opinion, when I look at the chart on a lot of these things. Which is what got me wanting to do these more visual representations on my videos instead of just talking about it, because, it's really funny how the way the market plays out. It is just there to trick you. And not only is the market there to trick you, a lot of the internet is there to trick you too. I hate to say it, but a lot of influencers are out there to trick you too. It is unfortunate. It is how it is. Everything is geared against you when you are attempting to become a successful trader. It's crazy, I know. Unfair, crazy, yes. Do I love a challenge? Yes, I do. Don't ask me why. I've found that is who I am and what I love. What is the hardest thing to do? That is what I am going to pursue in my life. Somebody near and dear to me had said before, YouTube is the hardest thing you'll ever do. I think I made a YouTube channel that day in the hopes of building up my strength and willpower to develop me as a human and to become a better person. I do not shy away from work. That is the only way to learn and develop the skills you need to get better. I went off on a tangent there, but that's what we're looking at for Apple right there. But if we were to get filled at the 225 area, okay, and we took a little off the table, if we were in the profit and we were to let the rest ride for a swing trade, Well, where would we write it down to? Honestly, if I was to get filled today, tomorrow up here at the 225 area, if I was to get filled up here 225 area, I would ride this potential short at least down to the 191 area to take out this long liquidity down here. Because what do I see here in the power of projection and just past experiences? A round trip in the making. We're going to save this line right here. What do I see down here? Previous consolidation. Where would I have my big buy orders at on Apple? Down here, 175, 170, 165. Where would I hold those to? I would hold those to 200, 205, 195. That's the moneymaker coming. If we are patient, that is our potential setups on Apple coming. Personally. Let me pull up Pepsi real quick before I get off here. We have our game plan on Pepsi. We have our thoughts. And look at this. We look at that. Yesterday, what were we talking about? We were talking about Pepsi on the 4-hour making the round trip maneuver. And we had this drawn out. And what is it still doing? It is still in play. Has it strayed from our game plan? No. Has it gotten to our point where we want to get in? Not yet. But it's getting there. You have to be patient in the market. You have to be patient and wait for your setup. Don't wait for somebody else's setup. Don't wait for, the TV to tell you to buy or sell something. Formulate your own plan and execute it to the best of your ability. And see what happens. And record what happens. And go back and watch yourself in your trade and say, okay, yeah, I did good there. Or, I had the right idea, but I didn't execute. Or, my parameters were off. I had the right idea, but I was off on where the entry and the exits were. That's how you learn and grow and get better at this craft. But Pepsi's going to be a very interesting one to see. It's kind of weak, the consolidation area over here to the left, but it has me peaked, this round trip maneuver, just because it's so beautiful looking that it's going to be wonderful to see. It will be very interesting, because if we can revisit down here this old consolidation area and then buy here and sell here's, that would be a beautiful trade right there. So that is a potential in the making. Very interesting right here. I love everybody. Happy Thursday. We got less than 2 hours till market opens. Take it easy. Just practice. Watch yourself. Nothing I say is advice. It's all just how I view things and what I do. And I hope it betters people in formulating their own game plans and becoming more independent themselves. And I will talk to everybody later.